Today, we're diving into two of the most important tools for staying private in our digital world, encryption and VPNs. Now, I know they can sound super technical, but we're going to break down exactly what they do, why they're so different, and most importantly, why this stuff really matters. Let's get right into it.
So, let's just start with a really simple question. You send a message, a text, an email, whatever, you just assume it's private between you and the other person, right? Well, is it? The honest answer is, it depends. And what it depends on are these tools we're about to talk about.
To really get our heads around this, let's start with a good old-fashioned analogy. Think about your messages not as whispers, but as actual letters you're sending in the mail.
Here's the thing. By default, a lot of our communication online is kind of like sending a postcard, or maybe a letter in an envelope that isn't even sealed. Anyone who handles it along the way, your internet provider, the servers for the app you're using, someone snooping on the coffee shop Wi-Fi, they can all take a peek inside. See, privacy isn't the default setting. You have to add the seal yourself.
So, what are these digital seals? Well, the two big ones are end-to-end encryption and VPNs. And this is where people get tripped up all the time, because they sound similar, but they actually do two totally different jobs. So let's break them down, one by one.
First up is end-to-end encryption, or what you'll see called E2E. This is like the ultimate wax seal for the content of your message. And the magic words here are no one in between. When a message is end-to-end encrypted, it gets scrambled into total gibberish on your phone and only gets unscrambled on your friend's phone. Nobody, not your internet company, not the app maker, not some hacker, nobody can read what you wrote.
So how does it pull off this magic trick? It uses this really clever system with two kinds of keys. Think of it like this. Your friend has a special mailbox with a mail slot. That's their public key. Anyone can find it and drop a letter in. But only your friend has the one-of-a-kind private key that can actually open that mailbox. So your phone locks the message using their public key, and only their private key can unlock it. It's a beautifully simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful.
Okay, so that's the sealed letter. Now let's talk about VPNs. A VPN doesn't care about sealing the individual letter. Instead, a VPN creates a secure, armored truck for your entire mail delivery. This is that encrypted tunnel you always hear about. It wraps up all your internet traffic, your browsing, streaming, everything, and hides it from anyone on your local network, especially your internet service provider. It also hides your IP address, which is basically like changing the return address on all your mail so no one knows exactly where it's coming from.
But, and this is a really important but, that armored truck only goes so far. Your internet traffic is locked down tight between you and the VPN server. But once your request leaves that server and heads out to, say, a website, it's back out in the open. So a VPN is not end-to-end. It protects the journey from your house, but not necessarily the final leg to the destination. Okay, so let's put it all together. End-to-end encryption protects the what? The actual content of your message. It's the sealed envelope. A VPN protects the where, your location and your connection from prying eyes on your network. It's the armored truck. So you can see they're not really competing. They're two totally different layers of security that actually work best when you use them together. All right, so now we know how they work, but let's get to the real heart of it. Why should we even care? Why is having this stuff so incredibly important in the first place? Well, the stakes are just incredibly high. I mean, on a personal level, this is about protecting our sensitive financial data, our medical records, and just keeping us safe from criminals when we're on public Wi-Fi. But it goes so much deeper than that. For people like journalists, activists, or just regular citizens living under oppressive governments, strong encryption isn't some luxury, it's a lifeline. It's a fundamental tool for human rights, for free speech. But that very strength, the fact that this stuff is designed to be unbreakable, has sparked one of the biggest and most difficult policy debates of our time, the fight over government access. On one side of the argument, you have law enforcement and national security agencies. Their position, like the one you see here from the former UK Home Secretary, is that bad actors, terrorists, criminals, are using this technology to go dark, to hide their plans. And they argue that in order to stop terrible crimes, they need a way in, a way to access encrypted data with a legal warrant. This is often called lawful access, or more controversially, a backdoor. But on the other side, you have privacy advocates, civil liberties groups like the ACLU, and a huge number of cybersecurity experts. And their argument is just as stark. They say you simply cannot build a backdoor that only the good guys can use.
Any key that lets the government in can be stolen by hackers or abused by authoritarian regimes. In their view, if you weaken encryption for anyone, you weaken it for everyone.
And make no mistake, this is not just some theoretical argument. It is happening right now, all over the world, and governments are landing in very different places. You've got the US and the EU in this constant tug of war over lawful access, but then you look at countries like Russia and China, and they've taken a much harder line, demanding that companies hand over encryption keys and banning any VPNs they don't approve of. The battle lines are drawn very differently depending on where you are in the world.
All of this brings us to one last really critical question. What would a world without these strong, easily available privacy tools actually look like? What if they were just gone?
The consequences would be pretty profound. It would mean our most personal, intimate conversations would no longer be truly private. It would make every single one of us way more vulnerable to things like identity theft and cybercrime. You have to imagine that trust in everything from online banking to just basic online shopping would absolutely plummet. And maybe most importantly, it would silence the voices of those people who need protection the most, making it so much easier for authoritarianism to take hold.
So, when you boil it all down, this whole debate over encryption isn't really about code and algorithms, it's about power. Who gets to decide when our privacy matters? Who gets to look inside our digital lives? And that leaves us with the one big question that's at the heart of all this. Who should hold the key to your private life? There are no easy answers here.